thanks. Good. It's that time of year again. We're doing the sleepout.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
right.
So we're a bit
we sponsored you last year.
You did. You were very generous. Might you be able to do it?
Well, the Sleepout is, although it is a fundraising event, it's not just a fundraising event. We want to raise awareness of the issue of homelessness, particularly in a place like Kirkbymoorside and rural places. It's not something that people recognise as existing here. It's hidden homelessness, really. And the work of SASH is absolutely invaluable. They work with youngsters 16 to 24. I have 2 children who are currently 17 and 22, and the last thing I would want is the thought of them having nowhere to sleep. I think that connects a lot with the people in Kirkbymoorside, and what they're trying to do, what SASH is trying to do, is prevent these young people becoming long-term homeless. So it's intervening early on, giving them somewhere safe to stay overnight, and to try and sort out a long-term solution for them, keeping them out of hostels, off the streets, out of B&B and inappropriate accommodation.
I think that nights such as tonight are really important, if you like, to prick people's consciences, to make us all aware of the huge need there is to be supporting homeless, particularly folk who are younger. Younger folk are often neglected in the awareness of homelessness. And so I think that whether you're part of a church body or whether you're just have no kind of faith attachment at all, I think just to be aware of and to be able to support projects such as SASH, I think is absolutely vital for the well-being of our community, not only today, but probably for the future as well.
We're a bit luckier than we were.
It was freezing one time.
2 years ago we did it in the snow. It got down to -5 and it was jolly cold, and I think people did have difficulty sleeping that night just because they were so cold. We now do it in March. It seems slightly less reckless. I'd say about 80% of the local businesses have sponsored us this year, which is really fantastic. You know, they're very generous.
Right, yes, I've got some cardboard for you.
Thank you very much.
Would you like the car outside? Come through.
Brilliant. Yeah. Can I leave my folder there?
Yeah, of course you can.
Thanks a lot.
When it was night stop, we actually had a speaker come and talk after dinner at my Rotary Club, which is Helmsley District, and we were able to help them with a donation. So we realised as soon as Sarah told us about it that it was very much a local issue, but particularly a hidden local issue, and so we were quite keen to support it. Put you this out, so if you'd like to choose what you think is going to be suitable.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think
you'll nearly get a person in each one.
Take a lot, yeah.
The thing that has worried us this year is that for the first 2 months of this year, January and February, we've seen an almost 70% increase in demand compared to last year. The main thing at the moment is coming forward and donating to the charity to make sure that we can continue to meet the demand. We've been lucky in as far as the funding that we get from places like local authorities, for example, has been able to resist some of the cuts, but the funding that we're getting from those sources certainly isn't going up, and demand is going up. We're going to have to keep fundraising a good 25% of what is needed to run the projects from sources such as the general public and so on, in order to be able to make sure that we are there to help those young people.
So I'm after a cardboard box, ideally that I can stick my head in. I find the best thing is if I keep my top half warm, my bottom half will follow. So I need something fairly sizable. This looks good. Although then again, a bit sturdier might be of help. It's a real pain when you get collapsed on in the middle of the night.
There's sometimes a slight difficulty in collecting for charities people can't really see working. If it's not in their community, people sometimes feel less inclined to give. But this is something that people really understand. And we find a surprising number of people have first-hand experience of homelessness. I mean, the number of people that we come to and they say, oh, I've slept on the streets before, or I've been kicked out by my parents and spent a couple of weeks on friends' sofas. It's something more universal than many people think.
It's very easy to have a a kind of stereotype of homelessness, but actually it's a very real problem, even in kind of relatively rural North Yorkshire. And I think it's important to kind of bring an awareness of that into people's lives as much as we can.
This year, I think our youngest is 10, or not quite 10, and our eldest is in, I think is 62.
What do you think it's going to be like tonight?
Very cold. With the sponsorship, it's helping and it's raising awareness for other people to do the same sort of thing, because after we did it, then they're now doing one in York as well, so it's just sort of spreading, which is good.
I want to see units in my head's here, so I have shelter for my head. And
because some people don't have shelter at night, and I want to know how it feels being out just in cardboard boxes.
It's a really good charity for a start. It's a really good cause. I mean, I've lived in Malton, well, in the local area for all my life, for 21 years now, and I never really thought of homelessness, youth homelessness, as being a problem. And like I say, I do know people who've gone through the YMCA system in Malton. So I've always known that youth poverty was an issue, but never really sort of the homelessness side of things. And I think it's good to sort of raise awareness to people, because you just don't see it. It's just not a problem. If you go to sort of cities and things, you do see people on the streets, whereas around here, you just don't think it exists.
We gather at about 10 o'clock in the evening, and up until now we've always done it in the churchyard. This year's slightly different. We'll have the scouts and young people in the churchyard, and the rest of us, about a dozen of us, are going to be actually on the streets, right on the pavements, a bit more visible to the public.
I've got my one bedroom. Would you like a guided tour?
Yeah, please.
This is my box. There's not much inside yet. Soon to be me inside. Donna, could you just tell me why you're taking part in the Sleepout tonight?
Because I think it's for a good cause to help prevent youth homelessness, and just to make people aware that obviously it does happen. It doesn't matter where you live or how small a town is, it still happens where kids are left without anywhere to live.
Well, I found out about it by living in the town, which is a very close community, so you hear about everything that's going on, but it was something I was very conscious of through travels, particularly on the continent and down to the big cities. And I became aware of something that we're very insulated from up here, and something very, very meaningful. And I just wanted to do my bit to try and raise awareness of it.
Although this is it's a bit of fun and it's a bit of a good time together, but there's actually lots and lots of people our age, your age, up and down the country, who will be having to live like this probably for many, many weeks or months. So it's just really worth remembering them, both in this very short time of prayer, but also throughout the night and for the rest of the year as well. To you, Lord, have I come for shelter. Let me never be put to shame. O deliver me in your righteousness. Incline your ear to me and be swift to save me. Be for me a rock of refuge, a fortress to defend me. For you, Lord, are my high rock and my stronghold.
It was quite spooky, I thought, because you could hear every single noise. Like every noise, every footstep, and that, it made us open my eyes, but I was frightened to move. Every car. Oh God, Harry. Please, not like this every night. It's quite frightening.
I mean, in a very, very small way, just a a few hours out on the streets of a town just makes you realise kind of how vulnerable you are, and how easy it is to think about the fact that we can go home to a nice hot shower, breakfast and a bed tonight, whereas obviously for many folk that's just not going to be available to them at all.
Very good, but very cold. Yeah.
I was fine till about 3 o'clock, and then I started to get cold.
I think I did get some sleep. I did get quite a lot of sleep. It was just the church bells. Really annoying.
Did it make you think about people that have to do this night after night?
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How was it?
It was alright-ish. Not too cold. Got some sleep in amongst the bongs from that clock.
It gets cold, particularly around 3 or 4, and the heavy dew. You know, you can understand that it's hard for people when everything's just wet. I mean, what do you do with all your wet kit now? You've got to bundle it into a bag, haven't you, and then carry it around all day. Whereas for us, we can go and dry it on the line and we go back to a house.
It was okay. It was. It makes you. I wouldn't like to do it for more than one night, though. To be honest with you, it does make you think about things, and the people are out there on night after night, out on the streets.
When you're lying there not able to really see what's going on, you're just trying to huddle up in your sleeping bag and keep warm, and you can hear maybe the odd shout out there, or this morning there was a dog barking away, and one that sort of came up quite close to me, and you can't help thinking, what are they going to do? You know, you do feel suddenly, quite a target and quite vulnerable.
This year we've decided we'd do it out on the actual street, so it's different, and I was quite scared. Obviously with people, like, it never sort of stopped till about 3 o'clock this morning, with people like walking, cars going up and down, different various noises like doors creaking, and it's just, but well worth it. And like Donna said, we wouldn't want to do it every night, and I feel very sorry for the people that do it every night.